We're
Hi!
live.
We're live. Woo!
I'm wearing a shit ton of makeup today because I bought myself a bunch for my birthday. Yeah.
Yes. You look
Uh,
nice.
we've had an amazing birth month, haven't we?
Yeah?
Why is that a
Yes?
question? What?
I don't
Were you
I
not
don't
there?
you know, I'm sorry to question if I was because I can't
Were you
remember
not there for
anything.
parts of it?
I can't remember anything I've done this month. I've been busy.
You
Like
have been.
the past like week and a half has been
Mm-hmm.
insane, and
Mm-hmm.
anything that happened prior to that is just
Mm-hmm.
like an illusion. I don't know. I think
That's
I had a
fair.
good birthday.
Okay, I do remember you talking about your birthday, so I think it was good.
Yeah, I remember, well, not my
Okay.
birthday, but the day after my birthday, I got to
Okay.
see my friends, and it
Okay.
was nice. I
Okay.
remember that
That's good.
vaguely.
No, I feel like I'm talking to like an amnesia patient.
That's what it feels
It's like
like.
I recall once the marigolds in the fields. You know, you made it.
Hello.
Welcome. Grab a seat and relax. We are here to talk about our last episode on representation in BL and Yaoi. We had a lot to say.
Yes. Some of us were more eloquent than others, as usual. Um,
You were plenty eloquent.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't listened back to the episode because who the hell has time for that in this climate?
I've listened to
I
it multiple times.
Yeah, because you are a raging narcissist, and I and I could have, but I got lost in uh other
Organizer hell.
things. Yeah, organizer hell, and while doing organizer chores, I've been listening to other podcasts,
Oh,
as one does.
I mean, that's a very logical thing to do is to not listen to the show you're on.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm a
think I would
raging
get
narcissist.
distracted.
We are very funny. We're we're not a great background noise podcast sometimes because we don't make any sense.
We're also really loud. There's a lot of screeching.
Okay, listen. I'm sorry that I'm not one of those like ASMR podcasters that's just like whispering breathily.
You? What about me? I am the most screechy thing on the planet, and
We
I
are
laugh like
too.
a fucking hyena.
Yeah, I mean, I'm over here cackling like a witch. I'm literally Baba Yaga in a chicken foot house with my
Oh my
magic eyeshadow and my vampy color scheme. Uh, but welcome. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about the episode, we are here to address them. I also officially started The Summer Hikaru Died this morning.
Yay! I still haven't figured out if I'd pre-ordered it or not because I I keep forgetting to check my Blackwell's account. I'm gonna do it after.
You know what? I'm just getting into chapter 2. I really like it. I really,
I
really
mean, it
like
looks
it.
really good. I really want to read it.
I'll say this. I saw this kind of buzzing around in our Discord. Um, let's see. I mean, I listen to y'all when I'm trying to fall asleep.
How's that working out for
Yeah, how
you?
do you, is it
Because
just like what are your dreams like? Or is it just screeching harpies?
oh my
Is that
god,
screeching harpies and flying dicks? What's that like?
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm also really. You know what episode I started listening to back was the school life episode. That one was screechy. That was a
I
screechy episode.
I have a vague recollection of
That
that.
was a little while ago.
Yeah.
But what my point was that I have seen some chatter in our Discord and other places on the internet that some people have been going into the summer Hikaru died without knowing anything about it.
Hmm.
And this is where I'll pause to say this is no longer 2004 when someone hands you a manga and you just accept it.
You had no choice. You just took it.
Yeah, you had no choice. Someone said it was gay, you took it. That's why we are the way we are. Someone
Yeah,
one day just handed you a manga, said it was gay, and
that explains a lot actually.
it really does.
I just remember, and this isn't even like one of those, because we talk a lot about, like Jane Losabete and all of these like traumatic,
Yes.
things. But
Yes.
there was almost like a support group that started up in my city
Yeah.
back in like, I think it was like 2007, because
Mhm.
when they started releasing, when June started publishing,
Mhm.
BL on the regular, and there was this one manga called The Day I Became a Butterfly, and everyone had read it and everyone had heard about it, and just it wasn't even that bad compared to some of them. It was just
But
sad,
like
and it
for
wasn't
the
even that sad,
moment.
but it was just everyone was just like gathering together
Yeah.
and like commiserating about the emotional damage that this
Because I think
manga
a
did
lot
to
of the
them.
Junet prints back then, especially, were just unbearably sad.
Yeah, there were
And
a
just
lot of
like for
sad
no
ones.
reason. And when we talk about like the problematic series that we've read, it's those like, oh my god, what was the one? It was a sequel to another series, and I never read the sequel, and I never read the first series. I just read the sequel. And like the Uke has amnesia, and the Senbei's trying to get him to remember, so he like locks the Uke, like chains him to the bed, and like that's how he's gonna love the memory back into him. And it's just like,
This sounds vaguely familiar.
okay, so yeah, I don't, the title escapes me completely. It was like the mid 2000s. I don't remember. And it was a sequel to something. And I was an idiot, so I just picked it up as a sequel, not knowing that there was an original series. I didn't have any questions. It was all trauma. So it was just like, why is this the plot? Why are you chained him to the bed? You're gonna love him into remembering you?
Yes, because that's what they did in 2004.
So like, this is not those times. If you're curious about the summer Hikaru died, you have people. No, no.
No,
Spray, spray
we do
bottle.
not condone
No,
this
we
kind
do
of
not
behavior.
condone. We do not condone the mistreatment of memory loss patients.
Though I will say, the other night we went to bed and it was like 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
and neither of us were sleeping. And for
Mm-hmm.
some reason, we started talking about tropes. And I said,
As you do.
God damn it, I think it was like time travel is my least favorite trope. And then my girlfriend's like, no, it's not. And I'm like, what? She's like, no, it's not your least favorite trope. You know what that is? I'm like, what? And she's like, amnesia. And I just groaned like endlessly because she's right, because I hate the
I
amnesia
hate
trope.
amnesia.
And fucking Love Stage, what the hell? I was
Stage did
enjoying
it.
that. And then they did it twice.
Yeah.
And I will say,
I mean,
that is,
Gravitation's done it like 3 times though.
in some cases,
Oh, so you're just, so what you're saying is you ignore all the times Gravitation did it.
that's different. I'm saying that in some cases, I think that the chaining the person to the bed and loving the memory back into them is my preferred solution
Do
to
not
whatever the hell.
chain. Do not chain people to beds and try to doki doki their memory back with your dick. You can't dick fall in love with someone who doesn't remember you.
But what if they remember? What if, oh, this sensation is familiar. I know the shape of this.
No, we've already discussed that's anatomically not what happens.
I'm just trying to rile you up. I love your obsession with proper anatomy in this very realistic world.
Sorry. My obsession with proper anatomy. Like I'm wrong. Like I'm the one.
I didn't say you were wrong. I just said that sometimes it pays off to just shut your brain off, Are you
flared
okay?
up my semi-asthma. You're a monster. I hate you. I'm being mistreated.
Oh
Corolla got a crown and chose violence. I'm being mistreated.
Yeah. So I'm like, I understand now. I feel this rush of power. I understand why you're always emotionally abusing me before the broadcast starts.
No, it's because of the SS Gaslight. It's the power of the S. I'm telling you, I'm going on Temu. I'm buying a little boat, put it right here. right in this little corner where I don't have anything.
Oh, the SS
I'm gonna buy
Gaslight.
the SS Gaslight. But yeah, this is a great time if you want to talk about the episode. Just hang out with us. Okay, I was making a point. If
Yes.
you want to read The Summer Hikaru Died and you're like, I don't know, there's this beautiful thing now called the internet. And there are people like us, many of them much smarter and much more eloquent, that have had things to say about it. Do your research. So far, nothing has squicked me. So far, I'm like, these are just two guys. Sure. But I've heard some people be like, I wasn't expecting it to be this. I wasn't
Mm.
expecting it to be that. This is not 2005. There are so many resources that you guys have. This manga has been talked to death.
I'm surprised how little I knew about it. Like I've heard about it. Thank you. Thank you
Carl's
for
doing some
appreciating
groundbreaking mental health research that we
my
can't
superior
literally.
my
literally.
superior skills in the mental
And
health department.
a
But
manga
yeah,
you've probably yeah, no, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say because we talked about it, but
We did.
I also didn't know a lot about it. I knew it was coming out. I knew it was a big buzz. And then
Mm-hmm.
I read the synopsis and I'm like, "Oh, okay." Cuz I was going to read it anyway, but
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't prepared either, and I haven't
Mm-hmm.
read it yet. So I don't know, like I don't know to what extent, how
From
it
what
is.
I've read, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think I'll be fine.
There
But
might be some phobia squick.
yeah,
Might.
might.
Might. But I think from what I've read, it's sort of like, when you're reading fanfic and it's like canon typical violence,
Hmm.
like it feels like canon typical violence for us.
Yeah,
Monsters.
yeah, we're monsters.
Monsters.
I can handle
Yeah,
a
we
lot.
can. Yeah, I can
Uh,
handle that. But for some people who are, newer into this genre or used to reading, like, I'm a normal 17-year-old boy and I don't have any problems. And this is
why
my
do you
boyfriend.
what is that voice?
I don't know. I don't want to put effort into the voice acting right now, Corolla. I'm too distracted by my eyeshadow.
Okay, you are very shiny.
Thank you. I feel like a bird. I'm very distracted by my own
It's
plumage
very,
right
very
now.
typical you.
Um, but I was going to say it reminds me of there was a manga that I read forever ago, and I would kill to get it as an English release. It's a Love and Desire or Both at School, and it's Amanda's perfect school life manga where it's just like this super elite like school full of high schoolers who are all really really smart and their teachers who are all sexual sadists.
Of course. Of course.
Listen, I'm just saying if you ever manage to get your hands on like a scan of it, you'd be like, someone wrote this for Amanda.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like your kind of school.
There's an
School life drama.
there's an archetype. I know you don't play like TCG or anything. There's an archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh called Madolche, and it's all like dessert puns and like cute creatures. And my best friend Carlos, we still play Yu-Gi-Oh. We still duel together. And I remember I was showing him the Madolche archetype, and he's like, "Wow, someone at Konami just made a whole ass deck for you.
Oh.
This appeals to no one else but you."
I'm sure you're not alone in the
I'm not.
world.
It's a very very popular archetype, but like the card I showed him, it was a little like pancake owl, and it's very very cute, and it's a hoot cake instead
Oh.
of a pancake. And
Yeah,
Carlos was just
that's like
like,
you.
yeah. And Carlos was just like, wow, someone at Konami made you a whole ass archetype. That's amazing. I don't know how you managed to do that because this appeals to no one else. But
You and the other bird watchers.
well, it's not just owls. There's Princess Tiara Masu.
Ah,
There's
yeah.
Butler Rusk.
Ah.
There's Shoe Valier.
Okay, it is for you. They made it for you. I believe him. I believe Carlos.
Corolla, knowing nothing about Yu-Gi-Oh or anything, is like, yep, that's it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, there's many more. That's not it. There's Angeli, little jelly angel. It's Corolla dies a little. So yeah, um, But I had a great time recording about representation and what it means nowadays. I have now seen Across the Spider-Verse 2 times.
I have seen it 0 times.
I think you're really gonna like it.
Yeah, I think I'm really gonna like it too. I just need to actually
I
get
think
to
you're
see
gonna
it.
like how fat Miguel's ass is.
What is that?
I think you're
I
gonna like that.
feel like,
He's Endeavor. He's just
but
Endeavor.
I don't like bulky ass men. You know, like
Well,
I
fine,
like
more for me.
twinks.
Oh,
More for you. You have them.
okay.
There you
There's
go.
like 3 of those. You're still being fed.
Okay.
You're not gonna starve this
Though,
movie.
believe it or not, but I'm not going into the Spider Verse for the twinks or the whatever.
What are you doing here then?
I don't know. I
I've
was
yet to see
enjoying
the story, the actual good writing.
I enjoyed the first one.
No, I did too. I did too. I'm not being a dick. Like I'm agreeing with you. Like it's a genuinely like well done movie. And then I saw it the first time and I was like, okay, that was like the scholarly watch. The second time was the shipping watch.
Oh, I usually do it the other way because I just can't repress the.
See, and I
When the
guess I
ship
repressed it
touches.
because I didn't think Miguel was hot until like the second viewing, and then it's like, oh, he is just Endeavor. I can work with this. But be warned, they do ship him with everyone. So there are some squicks that I didn't know were squicks until I saw them. He is, as comic books say, community dick. He is everyone's. So they put him with everyone, and that unveiled some squicks I didn't think were going to be squicks. I was like, I don't like that.
I'm looking forward to hearing the full explanation when I've actually seen the film.
You're gonna love it.
And it's like, because we've got Turukon in like 3 weeks, which is
Mhm.
I'm trying not to think about it, but we have this collaboration with the cinema, and so they have put up like they have a special like what
A
they have.
screening room?
Yes, thank you. They are screening three. They are screening. They have 3 screenings for our audiences on the
That's
Saturday.
amazing.
So we are. Everyone who has a ticket to TourCon get discounted tickets to either the Spider-Verse or Barbie or the new Slam Dunk movie, which is amazing. But the organizers, we can't go because we'll be too busy. And I'm like, I could have seen either of those that weekend, but I can't. So that would be so nice. But
That'd
we'll
be such a good double feature.
yeah, but we're still working at
I
that time.
was gonna Barbenheimer,
Hmm.
but I realized that a lot of people who are watching Oppenheimer are not getting the point that the bomb is not the good thing. A lot of people who have come out after watching Oppenheimer seem to have missed the point that the bomb is not the hero.
So it's like it's Pearl Harbor all over again.
It's Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor, where like you somehow end up really rooting for the Japanese. Yeah, it's. I think you guys missed the point. Like they tried to make Oppenheimer a hot incel genius, guy, and the whole point was that he deeply regretted what he did. The whole fucking point is that he made this and was like, "Oh fuck, this is bad."
But like, and I should know this because I am an expert on this. But people are really good at denial.
Yes,
You
you
don't
are
want
queen
to.
of denial.
You don't want to think about how okay this was bad. People
Yeah.
want. And again, because I haven't seen Oppenheimer and I haven't really read up, like it completely went under my radar until the whole meme thing started because I've been busy. I don't know what's going on.
You have been
And
busy.
yeah, but it's like so I will pull the Pearl Harbor card again, and it's like it's the same
Mhm.
thing, because some people just want the whole oh yeah we're American heroes. Look at them boys flying those planes. And I'm like, dude, they're about to bomb civilians with bombs that they don't know the full extent of like this is not good, but people are like, woohoo, America, you know?
But
And
I
I
also
think
think a lot
yeah.
of that's just how American history is taught.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not using it as a scapegoat. I think that makes
No,
it
no, no.
worse. But like, a
It
lot of
makes
that's just
sense.
yeah, a lot of that's just how it's taught. Is I was oh my god, I was just talking about this with someone that it's like yeah, we tend to teach American, especially like the World War II part of it, like nothing was going on, the Holocaust kind of sucked, and then Pearl Harbor happened, and America came in, kicked down a door, and fixed everything.
Yeah.
And that's not what was happening. That's not what happened. It's, there was a lot more going on everywhere. It's called a world war for a reason.
Well,
Um,
I heard someone in one of those compilations, you know, like dumb things Americans have thought, or when America realized they're not the center of the universe.
okay,
Because
okay.
no,
The
I
fact
can't.
that you're watching those for fun.
No, I'm not. They just keep appearing.
That one tweet where some dad is like, my 14-year-old son watched Oppenheimer and now he wants to be a physicist. Exactly. Like, I think that they're getting the wrong message, but go
Yeah.
on about you bashing America.
No, I was just saying there was this one person who was like, who said that they legitimately thought when they were younger that a European history just stopped when America was founded because America's the center of the world. And so why would anything else happen in Europe? What do you mean European history continues? I'm over here like, oh my god.
Yeah, I would evaporate off of this planet. I would leave. I would flee. I would disintegrate because yeah, there are unfortunately some folks that believe that.
But your education system isn't the best. It's not like it's your fault.
It is, yeah, it's not. American education tends to make us the hero in my experience, which very much isn't true in the vast majority. Yeah, I can confirm as an American living in Texas that American education is very much we are the heroes of every narrative, even the ones that we had nothing to do with.
Of course.
And nothing bad happened at all.
No, no.
Slavery was actually a chill, fun experience. And the Civil War was the war of Northern aggression,
Mm,
which some history books still cite it as.
I'm
The
so
war of the war of Northern aggression.
oh god.
But to tie that back into representation, what I think is amazing is how, it's very, very clear that we take our histories and where we stand in the world and bring them into works and into series. And
Mm,
I think that's one of the things that makes, especially BL and other series that stand to represent more like sexuality and gender, so fascinating is that you bring in your own
mm,
desires and feelings and your experiences into that. And Kurla and I talked about that a little bit in our Patreon episode where, we talked about how we handled this stuff as writers, which, for both of us, I think it's not unfair to say wasn't always great,
nope.
but because it wasn't for anyone, no one was doing a good job back then. So, we mimicked what we knew.
Yeah, it was we were products of our time and of the content that we were consuming that we were
We
just
were.
copying because
Yep.
that was how it worked and to an extent which we will talk about next month is still happening but differently, which I think is very interesting. I think
I'm
it's
so
very
excited.
fascinating.
Especially considering that like I'm still writing fanfic and everything like that. Like it's
Yeah.
amazing that like I'm so excited to talk about this next month
Yeah, I'm
because
really, really excited to hear your perspective since you've been in the game the whole time, whereas I was, I was away for a long time and now I'm back. But only
only
in
because of Kim
Discord.
Forsht.
Oh, God. I'm very happy. Okay. I'm
I
very
didn't
happy.
say anything. I didn't say anything.
No, I'm just putting it out there.
But it's so amazing when I think about this stuff now that it's like, yeah, I definitely took a lot of like my own gender weirdness when I was like 16, 17 years
Mm,
old into my readings of different series. I definitely took a lot of like, my desire to puff up and be a big, strong man into the characters that I end up really, really liking.
Mm.
You know, because I tend to think that I don't project a lot onto some characters. Like there are the ones that I know I project on. I'm not totally delusional. Fuck you. I saw that. I saw that look. Fuck you. Fuck you. I saw that. I saw that.
I thought I was being
You
subtle.
were not. Fuck you. I am very aware that I project onto several characters, but there are some that I don't think I project onto. And then I'll look at them and be like, ah, damn it.
Mm.
I saw that.
No, but I understand. Like I don't project in the same way.
Mhm.
But I do. Why do you think I love Tamaki so much, huh? Because he's he's an anxiety wreck. I see something in him that I can on some level relate to. Like there's a reason I tend to like the more fucked up and
Mhm.
sad they are, the
Mhm.
more I love them. And
Yes.
maybe that is the depressed child in me that is reaching out, but yeah, it's not the same kind. It's not necessarily projection, but there's definitely a resounding, oh, you, we are the same kind of, like, I
Yeah.
feel this. I want to
Well,
protect you.
and I think like the earliest I recognized it, honestly, was with Aerie
Oh,
and like his bisexuality thing, where he was determined to hold on to being bisexual for as
yeah,
long as he could. Because he could hang with being bisexual. That was okay. He couldn't acknowledge being gay.
except for that one. And I mean, and it's one of my favorite moments when
Yes.
the journalists are outside the
Yeah, except
building,
for that
and
one
yeah,
moment.
and they slam the doors open, and he screams,
Yes.
"I already said I was gay. What more do you want
But
from me?" I'm
how
like,
far
I'm so
hot
proud.
was that moment until that point?
Uh,
Right. And like I didn't realize that I was connecting that much to that part because
mm,
I've never thought of myself as anything but bisexual. So I had no idea why I was clinging to that part so desperately. I still don't really fully know. I still am very comfortably seated as bisexual. Occasionally I'll say omnisexual, but that still hits the ear a little weird. Um, but like I fully like mapped all of my feelings onto that
mm,
because there was something in me at 16, 17 years old who I can fully acknowledge got off on that ability to pass. Being bisexual meant that I could still pass as straight.
yeah.
Being gender fluid meant that I still could very much pass as cis.
Mm,
And there was a lot of safety in that, especially growing up in Texas in the
yeah.
2000s.
Yeah, and I think that is such a key point because again, with our context that we grew up
Yes.
in, with be it Japan, which is
Mhm.
arguably conservative and not
Mhm.
necessarily as progressive, at least not back then when it came to gender
Mhm.
and sexuality, and also
Mhm.
conservative places like Texas, for instance,
Mhm.
that it's the same. It's a shared experience,
Mhm.
different but shared. And I
Yes.
think, yeah.
Yeah, and it was amazing to think about that. That like for me, it wasn't necessarily the bisexuality part; it was the passing part that
Mm,
I understood with Aries' hang up on maintaining some level of bisexuality. It was still being able to pass in some scenarios as heterosexual, or at least in his case, pass as a whore.
yes.
Same. Pass as a slut, my true gender identity. Whore.
Jesus.
But
Not no judgment though. Like,
yeah, I also
we
from
don't
you, I wish you would.
we don't slut shame in this
We
house. We
don't.
slut
Well,
celebrate
we do slut shame some characters. We have slut shamed some characters.
some characters. That's different. I would
Some
never slut
characters
shame
deserve it,
you.
is what you're saying.
Yes. Some
Some
characters would
characters.
would absolutely bask in that slut shaming. They would enjoy it. Don't tell me they wouldn't.
I'm feeling a little attacked because I feel like there's one character you're talking about. And this
No,
is very pointed in my direction for
what? I don't have one particular character in my mind. Okay, it just.
I think you're full of shit. I think you're a
Well, then
liar.
who am I talking about? What? You tell me.
No, I'm not. No.
Okay. Well
We
then.
all know. Everyone
Okay.
knows.
Right.
But but yeah, like
They're
it's amazing
viewers.
to
I
think
am
about.
me.
But it's amazing to think about like how that little thing
Hmm.
was so powerful. I mean, it's not a little thing. It was very, very valid that I was concerned about like not passing back in those days. Uh and even now. But
Maybe
it's
especially now, considering I occasionally just block out how bad things are getting.
um we're trying to, but it's hard because we have like elections and stuff. So
Hmm.
it's impossible to stay because I would love to just like unplug and not have to think about any of
Yeah.
this. It's really hard. A seated elected official referred to black people as colored people on the Senate floor
I did see this. Yes.
and then was upset when people called him racist. 'Cause
I am a Norwegian with a very different cultural context and historical context. And
yes.
yet, I was like, how do you not understand why this is a problem?
You can't call people, you can't call us colored anymore. Oh my
That
god.
is
You can't say
yeah.
that. You can't say that about us anymore. But no, it's amazing. And I also want to spend a good chunk of this live, almost like as a mea culpa, acknowledging that our roots weren't great.
What are you talking about? My roots were amazing. I don't understand. But you're saying that the representation. Dare we mention Yoshiki Kitasawa yet again? Are
She's
you
always there. I almost like I want to see if I can get like a figure of her or something and just like have her like floating somewhere. Because
she's
like she's always here. She's always here with us. Is the Yoshiki Kitazawa in the room with you presently?
I mean, it's so strange because she is in many ways a good character in the sense like she serves a purpose. And I think but that is part of the problem because
Yes.
I mean she's there for a reason.
Yes.
But it's like did you really have to do it like that? Was that like the exploitation feels a little bit real
Excessive.
with her. Yeah. There are some things that are just like when I was rereading it, like I've been thinking about I want to reread Gravitation again, but I don't have any time because I'm redoing the panel for CitrusCon. Spoiler.
Yes.
And
It's not a spoiler. You said it on air multiple times.
I don't know. And then I really have to re-record. Yeah, I need to get on that. But I wanted to reread. But the last time I reread it, which was when I did the Gravitation panel for FujoCon,
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, this is so much worse than I remember because there are parts of her, like, it's not even her storyline because she's just there. She's just a supportive character. She's just a tool for the story to progress and for
Mm-hmm.
Yuki to deal with some of his trauma. But the way
Yeah.
that she is used for that is just not
Great.
No. And the fact that it's played off for comedy makes it worse.
Correct. I feel like our next Patreon episode just has to be like talking about Yoshiki Kitazawa.
Oh god, yeah, maybe we should do
Maybe that's what we'll do for August.
Deep dive.
Because I feel like we talk about her like every episode now. And
I mean, yeah, it would be good to do it in August because then I'll be like back in the.
You know what? Okay, August. If you want to sign up for Patreon, we're gonna do a deep dive on Yoshiki Kitazawa.
Oh god.
Yeah, both of us just like that.
But on the other hand, look at us, the Yaoi Shelf returning to Gravitation. Surprise!
Perla had two demands when she came onto this show.
Demanded nothing. I
You
I asked for nothing. Don't
you
lie.
are a liar. And one of those demands was to promptly talk about gravitation, which we did.
I don't.
Um,
I don't. I
it's
did see
okay
you
because in
complaining.
September I get my wish.
Yeah, which means I have to get reading.
You
Uh,
do.
I do. I
I don't
do.
know when you're gonna have time, but you do.
I will make some time. Sometimes you just gotta make time for some BL in your life, you know?
Yeah, me reading The Summer Hikaru Died after I kept saying I'd start it. Um, but I think we have to acknowledge that our roots weren't great, and unfortunately, sometimes those roots are really, really hard to shed. You'll hear that more next month when we talk about fanfic writing tropes. That some of these things you just don't, it's hard to get rid of. No matter how much self pruning you do, you still find it coming back to you.
Mm.
Like I'm figuring that out in my own fanfic that out of all the things that are completely different from how I wrote smut when I was 13 years old and had clearly never seen a dick before in my life, there are some things that are still the exact same.
Mm.
And that's horrifying and also very weirdly comforting.
I think that is a great way of putting it. Horrifying, but somehow comforting.
It's terrifying that it's like I am still doing this. But then also it's like because we had birthdays. I've been meditating a little bit on being older and what that means. And it's like for as much of me because I've also been thinking about like getting older on like a molecular level because I'm at that point in like my trauma healing where it's like in a few years none of the cells that belonged to you,
Mm.
my former abuser, will be yours. Like I'm at that weird like biological deterministic state of like healing. Um that it's like for all of the parts of me that are molecularly, spiritually, physically, emotionally not the same from when I was 13 years old, 20 years ago.
Oh my god.
There's so much of those things that still echo, like these little like
Mm.
vestigial limbs that are still there. And it's horrifying. It's like vestigial limb is the best way to describe it. Of like it's weirdly comforting and like like the part of us that was once a fish that made the worst mistake ever is still there inside of us. And I know exactly what that fish is.
What?
Do you not know science, Amanda? Have you never met science, Amanda?
I've met Science Amanda occasionally.
So there was this semi amphibious fish. The name is Tataltic now. And Tataltic rose out of the water and
Yes.
started its life living on land, and its gills started breathing oxygen. And it's because of that first fish that stepped out of the water that paved the way for mammalian life as we know it.
Yes. I know this.
So, but so we still have a lot of vestigial parts of us, especially in the embryonic stage, that are from that inner fish.
Hmm.
Like human embryos still have gills, we still have weird tails, we still have all that stuff. Sometimes that stuff makes it through the embryonic stage and you're born with it. So
Yeah.
there are lots of people that have like tails and like weird little fins and shit like that. It's kind of cool. But like, it's kind of cool. But yeah, like it's weird like going back over and realizing like there's all these like little like vestigial ghosts of who I was when I first started writing
Hmm.
in my work still. And it's horrifying and it makes you want to jump off a bridge because I was 13, I didn't know what I was doing. But it's also like, look at you, like you learned this all
Yeah.
those years ago and it's still there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It won't leave.
I get the same. And sometimes it's like, well, this has just become part of my brand. And but then I'm like, have I sometimes you look at things and it's like every
Yeah.
it feels like, especially with the smut, like every single sex scene you've ever written is essentially
Mhm.
the same. I mean, it isn't, but
Mhm.
I follow a very similar recipe with, and it's partially because that was how I learned it, but also because I grew a preference. And
Yes.
now I don't know how to do anything else. Like I've been
Yes.
experimenting lately. Like my new boys, they're doing different things. They're trying different things, but
Mhm.
it's it's there. It's always
Mhm.
been there. And even though okay, maybe I'm wording it better. Maybe, my phrasing is better, my vocabulary has improved, does not mean it's not the same thing. Like,
Right. And I
yeah.
think that, like, where I notice a lot of that stuff is, and we talked about this in the main episode and more in Patreon, is still fundamentally how I build my characters.
Hmm.
And that none of them look like I do. That's a vestige of one growing up with very, very whitewashed media. Oh, I'm sorry. I also yawn. I can't tease you.
I haven't
Uh,
haven't had enough caffeine today.
that one is the byproduct of being raised with whitewashed media, and two, of just what I was ingesting.
Mm,
So there's one part of it that's pretty innocuous, the part of like, I'm watching nothing but series with white characters. So of course all the characters that I write are going to be white coded.
yeah.
But then there's the more sinister part of it that's, I have not found a black character that I like or I feel like inhabits me or the life that I live. And that means that I don't see myself
Mm,
in other black characters.
yeah.
And that one's not great.
And
I
this is,
yes.
this is also pretty much exactly how I've been feeling about female characters, which
Mhm.
is why I've always identified with the male characters, which is why I
Same.
I write 90% of the time male characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's same but obviously different because
Yeah.
it's not a race thing.
No, I understand. I understand. Um, but it's also amazing that when you have those little moments that do feel very, very like affirming. Affirming is the only word that comes to mind.
Mm,
Where it's like, wow, this character looks like me. Um, this character sounds like me, this character feels like me. And even if I can't put the pieces together 100%, there's more effort into putting those pieces together. To talk about superhero movies again, that was one of the best parts of Wakanda Forever, was watching Shuri go through her grief in a way that felt a lot like the way that I went through my grief after losing my mom, which was keep working. And if you keep working, you can't be sad.
which is very healthy and you
I
know.
have told everyone multiple times what happened to me when I dealt with that.
I
Uh, and it wasn't great. But
mean, to
like
an extent, you're still, yeah, no, you're still doing this a little bit. Just
I didn't pay you for therapy.
you,
And you're not trying to dick me down like Kurose. So I don't
I'm,
need this from you. I didn't ask.
I'm
I
sorry.
gave no.
I'm
I
sorry. Let me
100%.
just put on my kudos suit, and I'll
Yeah,
get
I was
right
like,
to
excuse you.
it.
I'm not being dicked down, which means I didn't come here for therapy. Um, but
Which also says a lot about your coping mechanisms, I guess. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to attack you.
my lack, the utter lack of. But no,
If
like
I
I
came into a therapist's office and Kudosa was sitting there, I'd feel the same way, honestly. Go on.
attacked or we want to get dicked down.
The latter.
Okay. I
I
don't
mean,
think
if he
he's a good
wants to attack me,
therapist.
fine. I'm
I don't think he's a
fine.
good therapist, though. I think he's
No,
bad at what he
I don't
does.
necessarily think he's a good therapist, but he seems to be good at other things. And I'm like,
Is he?
who am I to deny him? Shirotani doesn't seem to complain a lot. He seems to
Hashido
enjoy it.
Tani racked up enough experience to know what bad is?
Shirotani is okay. It's fine. You don't get to destroy this for me, okay?
I do.
Go,
I think I do.
go on. Carry on with your talk, with your very eloquent talk about representation. You were doing so well until I destroyed it. I'm sorry. Let's just move on
What
before
else?
you point out any more holes in my plan.
Just Shido Tani's. But it was amazing to see someone grieve like I did because I didn't do the whole like wailing and throwing myself over the casket. No, I didn't have time for that. I had shit to do. So it was amazing to watch a movie where like that expression of
Mm,
grief was there, was central, was a character that did look like me. She does not always have a crown, and she can't have one ever again after this.
I'm only wearing the crown because it's our birthday month.
It is.
And I've never worn this actually. My friend bought this
It's
for me
cute.
in Japan in 2016,
It's
and
cute.
she was like, "You have to wear it on your birthday." And then I left it in the hotel, so I decided to wear it today.
I'm actually in the market for more crowns.
Of course you are.
Um,
Can
they're
never have enough
great.
crowns.
They're amazing. What I was saying was like there were so many parts of that movie that just felt so affirming. And so like my barometer for that is if it can make me cry or not, because shockingly, it takes a lot to make me cry.
Mm,
I sobbed so much during Wakanda Forever because I hadn't had a movie represent me like that.
mm.
And it's a really, really shocking feeling to feel seen like that, especially when you hadn't like in media for all of those years.
Yeah.
There's a part in Wakanda Forever that isn't really a spoiler to anything, because Winston Duke's character Umbaku keeps giving Shuri a hard time, and he calls her a child all the time. Like that's just their thing. And it's at the funeral scene, and Shuri goes to like step to him and be like, "Oh, are you gonna call me a child again?" And Umbaku says, "The world has done enough to you that you are no longer a child."
Mm.
I broke down. I was like, I'm done. I'm done. This is it. I'm walking out of this film because like I felt seen on such a
Mm,
molecular level, and I want to. So I probably sounded very, very hard line in that episode about who I feel like can represent who. And I want to emphasize that it's amazing that the things that have made me feel represented have been projects written by people of color. There's just an authenticity to it that feels very different
mm.
than when there's a white creator trying to do the same thing. I, especially as an African American, will always have some authenticity questions about out group trying to represent in group.
Mhm.
And much like
Rightfully so, I
right,
wanna add. Yeah.
and I will say I feel that way across the board. It isn't selective, it isn't just a race thing, but I get squirrely when straight writers try to write gay characters. We're seeing that now with and just like that, the Sex and the City sequel. Cuz they gave us a non-binary character who is the worst. The worst character. The absolute worst character.
I haven't seen And Just Like That yet because I don't know if I want to, but I've
Don't.
seen a lot of discourse lately. Yes.
Yeah. So I watched a little bit and just like that because fun fact, I used to love Sex in the City.
I mean, I watched it. I watched most of it. I haven't
She's
seen
like,
the
I
films.
watched it. The only time there was one joke in the Sex in the City movie that made me want to walk out of my skin.
Okay.
And it was Samantha, who is my soul character.
Well, everyone loves Samantha.
You'd be shocked.
I thought
A
everyone loved
lot of
Samantha.
people in the 2010s started slut shaming her, and it was very funny.
Again, people who didn't get the memo, I
And the
guess.
Catholics were angry at her for trying to fuck the Virgin Mary that one time. She did turn the Virgin Mary into a dildo, so the Catholics were
Oh
angry.
yeah, that was the thing.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. The 2000s were crazy, but hold on. I felt the same thing about Turning Red and representation of generational trauma and just the mess
Mm,
that is Asian. Right, and it's amazing because when you see who wrote that, it feels so much
yeah.
different. But oh, and Sex in the City. So they're in Saudi Arabia because remember, this is the 2000s, and Saudi Arabia was spending a lot of money on making it look like this beautiful, rich paradise and ignore all of the unrest and the indigenous people and the corruption and the oil. Ignore all that. Just look at how rich and lush this is. You remember
I mean,
that period of media?
yeah, but that is still happening.
It's still, yeah. I by no means am saying it's done, but do you remember when that started and everything was suddenly going to like Dubai and everything like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
So they did that where they were in the desert and Samantha hooks up with this guy and they're fucking on the hood of his car and she says, "Lawrence of my labia." and I wanted to like unzip myself from my skin and walk out. Like I was like she screams as she comes, Lawrence of my labia. And I just wanted to like just walk out of my skin and crawl
do you ever
somewhere.
just think like fanfic authors are out
Yeah.
there writing this mind-blowing porn for free,
Yes.
and
Yes.
someone got paid
Paid a lot of money, an obscene amount of money to write Lawrence of my labia.
Why? I mean, I'm assuming it was supposed to be comedic, but
The most Norwegian statement I've ever heard, but accurate. I'm assuming this was meant to be comedic. It was.
I mean comedic rather than I guess arousing.
Because it's not sexy.
No.
And I would argue I don't even think it's that funny.
No.
But someone got paid a lot of money to write Lawrence of my labia. And fanfic writers over here in the mines just putting in work. Fanfic writers out here just putting in work day in, day out in the mines. But Lawrence of my labia.
This is your call to action to hit up your favorite fanfic author and go and buy them a coffee or something because they freaking deserve it. Just do it.
Just go find your favorite fanfic author and just go tip them, commission them, whatever, and just write in. This is a formal apology for the one Sex and the City movie that thought that Lawrence of my labia was a good sexy line. Yeah. Just say that. I'd love to see how many people are just very confused.
And it would be like, it would be great if we could make this like a movement and then people would be increasingly confused, but it would be great. Yes. I have to go and let the monster back in.
Go let the cat in. Hello, listeners. I'm solo for a few seconds while Corolla lets the cat in. But yeah, if you have any questions about the episode, you want to talk about it, anything like that, we're still here for a little while. I've been having a great time. This is one of the highlights of my day. It typically is.
Why are you laughing?
Back. No, I was just saying this is like genuinely one of the highlights of my day. It is. I love spending time with you.
Oh, thank you.
Also, I saw a taxidermy shop that sells a little mouse who's dressed like Buffalo Bill.
Oh my god. Why?
I kind of want it.
I have a lot of questions about that.
I kind of want it though.
Of course you do. Was it expensive?
It is expensive. Sansa
is here. His timing, impeccable as always.
He's great. And you can hear my neighbor's fucking dog barking. It's better than the leaf blower, I'll admit.
The leaf blower.
The leaf blower was the worst thing.
The leaf blower was our special guest on Patreon this month.
Yeah, the worst special guest we've ever had on the show. You know, we've always said
funny when it friggin' intensified and you were like yelling.
I was yelling. Belated for both of us.
Yes. I mean, she knows, hopefully. She knows.
I know she knows. I know who this is. I'm not brand new. He's such a handsome boy.
You think so? He's shedding everywhere. There's cat hair.
What would y'all suggest for a newer BL fan that wouldn't scare them away from the genre as a whole? Ooh. Ooh. You know, I think it's important not to think of BL like a monolith in that instance. I think treat it like you would any other genre. Read what you would like reading normally. If you like the ones that are more action focused, there are some that are more action focused, and the action isn't just dicks.
Preferably there are some of those too.
Preferably there is some dick action.
I like a good mixture personally.
Yeah, you know, if you like if you like Yakuza series, there's those out the ass. If you like
Literally.
literally out the ass. um, if you like isekai, there's too many of those.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Too
those.
fucking many of those. If you like Omegaverse, good news. Japan's doing that too now for some reason. Um, so
Amanda, ever the oh god.
I
Yeah,
don't like that they diluted it down to just being scent kink. Omegaverse is so much more than just scenting.
I will leave this one to you. I have no input
I
on
worked
this
so
on this
hard
subject.
to read to you in my sexiest voice that
Yeah,
fic.
the
And
reading was good. I just
you don't like it. So I
I
would
don't like it.
that's fair. So I would say stick to what you like. If there is a
Yeah,
thing that you really like in other fiction,
yeah.
you
I
can
think
find it.
if you and like if your friend asks you for recommendations, like typically
Mhm,
ask what do you typically read? Like what are
mhm,
some of your other favorite shows or like series? And then go based on that, if
mhm,
you are a person who can actually remember any of the things that you've ever read when you are
mhm,
asked about it, because my
mhm.
mind instantly went blank. I don't know what I've read. I don't know any of the thousands of BL volumes I own that I have in my house.
I mean, I feel like that question is so much harder because so like I mean narcissistically I think about me that if someone didn't know who I was, and like I go to Barnes and Nobles and I find the one employee who is helpful because no one at Barnes and Nobles is there to help you.
Okay.
They're not, they're not. This isn't
Taking
like
notes.
Borden. This isn't like Borders or Walden's back in the day. No one is actually there to help you. They want you to leave, which is fair. Um, which is fair. But like,
Anyone working in retail ever,
yeah,
really.
exactly, which is fair. So, if I walk in and they obviously don't know me and I just say, I'm looking for a new boy's love. They're going to point me in what sells. And shocker, because they don't know me, they know that I have negative zero interest in that shit. So what are they going to sell me? They're going to probably try to sell me Given. They're probably going to try to sell me Junjo for some reason. They're probably going to try to sell me something like that. And it's like, guess what? I hate those. So I say, especially now with all the resources that we have, read what you like reading and make it gay. I
Mm.
think that's one of the reasons why the summer Hikaru died has gotten so much press is that shockingly the gays like spooky shit. And here's some spooky shit that is gay.
Yeah.
So it's combining the things that we love. Except for me, I don't like spooky shit because I'm black. I don't like it. It's spooky. Um,
And
but
you're a sensible human being.
I am. Who doesn't want to fuck the monster except for Overhaul?
Except for when you do want to fuck the monster.
When have I wanted to fuck the monster outside of Monster Hall? Because I've said I want to fuck Monster Hall. I've said that. When have I wanted to fuck the monster?
Okay, fine. Maybe you haven't.
Can confirm black no spooky. Thank you. Yeah, we don't. I've only ever said I wanted to fuck one monster, and that
And,
was Monster Hall.
and this is why the majority of people in horror films are white.
Yes, because
Because
you all don't read any of the obvious signs of like, oh my god, my phone doesn't get service. Oh, there's a haunted
no.
well.
Do you know what we read? We read the stupid text that you're not supposed to read out loud.
You read the bleeding book in the center of the dead tree surrounded by animal bones.
We go into the very definitely haunted mansion to play with our Ouija boards.
Right.
Because we're
and
fucking
then
stupid.
And then a table goes flying across the room. What was that? The black person's in the car waiting. No.
Exactly.
I am not a monster shamer. That was just never my thing. I'm not here to shame people who are monster fuckers. The only time that I have issues with monster fucking is that there is a lot of racial coding and a lot of monsters. Yeah, so sometimes, particularly when white women are monster fuckers, they really want a black man. And the monster is a very, very thin coating of they really want to fuck a black man. So I'm a little bit suspicious of some of my het white friends who are monster fuckers, because a lot of them don't really want a monster. They want
Why?
a brother.
Why is my default reaction to that is you have het friends?
Not really. Like a couple?
Because
But
I'm
like,
like,
no.
I think I literally told someone
Yes,
recently,
they
like,
are.
I've met
A straight
oh,
person.
I've met straight people. I think
I
I
have
know
met
some
straight
straight
people.
people.
Yeah. You know what? My
Really?
best friend is a straight man.
Oh my god. How
Yeah.
that's very open-minded of you.
I know, right? You know, there's certain things we definitely can't talk about, but there's certain things we certainly can't talk about. But no, I'm by no means a monster shamer, except for in those instances where it's like,
Yeah, but you know that goes for a lot of things. It's like
yeah, it's
what what is the agenda? Is there an agenda? Is there a hidden agenda? Or is it just like, and
yeah,
the same with a lot of things.
yeah. Because I've definitely I've tried to read Het Omegaverse, and it is just 250 pages of my husband can't make me come. Good lord, it is just 250 pages of my husband thinks that the clit is a myth and can't make me come. Who let the gnat inside? Probably me.
Probably you. We have
But
them too.
but yeah. So the point: find what you like reading, and find an analogous gay series, and listen to what people have to say about it. To tie it all back, this is not 2004. You are not in darkness. Someone didn't, it wasn't like, those sketchy, characters that you see in old movies where, they open up a trench coat and it's just like manga.
Which is
Like,
literally
that's what
what it was
happened to
like
us.
sometimes.
I mean, I was friends with the trench coat mafia when I was in high
Yeah.
school. So literally, yeah, it was some guy with a trench coat.
I mean, you've
Yeah.
talked about the hentai binders. Like, you guys were wild. We didn't
Deep
have anything
PTSD.
yet, and you guys were out there just like, what are you buying?
Literally, just flip. You want some 2D titties? I got them. I got some 2D titties for you.
Oh my god.
We were. I
You
was
were so ahead of the times.
I was student body president when I was in high school because I was
Wow.
president of this. Well, I wasn't president of the organization. I was a president in the student body because I was president of the anime club. So I had to go to all the student council meetings. And one of the guys from the football team was there. And he's like, "You got any of that Asian porno?"
Oh my god. But I know I've had similar
Yeah.
experiences.
And I'm just like, "Sir, I have fought for weeks for the legitimacy of this club, even though I had incest porn in my backpack while I was defending the club."
Of course. Have I ever told you the story of when I brought when I was taking classes as an adult because I was missing some subjects because I fell between a lot of chairs and I had to take subjects. And
Yes.
two of the girls in my class were extreme normies, but they were very
Yes.
sweet. I really, really liked them. And one day they came up to me and they were like, can we yes, can we come to your house? We want to see all your weird stuff. And I'm like, sure. So they came over, we got pizza, and then they were like, so do you have any of that anime porn? Can we watch some? So I showed them sensitive pornograph because I have no shame. I'm like, okay, sure, let's do it. And it was so funny because it's because on one hand you're vehemently trying to defend yourself, like, yes, but also there's all of this great, but yeah, I have it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so I had to defend my anime club with 2 manga in my backpack. One was some cousin incest yaoi that I don't remember, and the other was X Day, which is literally about a group of students who blow up their school. So I'm defending my anime club with this in my backpack.
I feel like you wouldn't get into an American high school these days with those things in your backpack, because these days your backpack has to be clear so that they can see that you have no guns in it.
Yeah, so we didn't have, well, we got clear backpacks towards the end because people kept stealing the computer equipment. Like they would just like walk out with like whole CPUs.
Was it good enough to be stolen? That is my main question. Because
Well,
the school,
again,
the
this is
school computers that we had,
2006. So this was probably the only computer that you had regular access to.
hmm.
So, and I went to, I don't want to say we were an underfunded school, but we were definitely not the richest of the schools in the area. So for a lot of it, it was just, this is the one computer. It's not even a value judgment. This was just the computer, and you could pawn it for money. And people did that. So we had clear backpacks not because of guns, but because of theft. Now there's clear backpacks because of guns. My freshman year of high school, some guy brought a katana to school. And the school went on lockdown.
Oh God.
And in my third year, it was actually one of my anime clubbers threatened to blow up the school or shoot it up. And I remember talking to him all night, like on instant messengers, just like, hey, I think that's a really, really bad idea. You know, I'm messaging like my club, like vice president and everything, like, we have to still go to class. You know that, right? And they're like, no, you said he's going to kill everyone. We're not going to school. It's like, it's going to be really suspicious if we don't go to school and they find out that he was with the anime club and they're going to make it look really, really bad for us. We still have to go. Because that's the kind of stuff that I was dealing with when I was in high school, was actual PR science of telling my fellow 16-year-olds we can't miss school, knowing that there's someone who's threatening violence because it's going to make the club look bad. These were the stakes I was dealing with at 16 years old.
Why? What is
So
your
I
life?
actually, turns out I did manage to talk him down. He did not
Oh.
shoot up the school. The anime club did go to class that day, and we hugged each other in between each period because we didn't know which one would be our last.
That is dystopian.
Sometimes, you know, I always hate when people say, like, oh, you have main character energy, because it's not a good thing.
No, you don't want to be the main character.
It's awful. I had repressed that memory for so long because I forgot how fucked it was that was on me.
Shouldn't you have told someone?
They weren't going to believe me.
Oh my God.
And I put myself at more risk for being the snitch.
Ugh.
So I didn't say anything. We just went to school because we knew if we were the one group that wasn't there, we'd look really suspicious.
Hmm.
So we all went to class. We made sure that our classes intersected so we could all give each other hugs as we were passing each other in the hall. And we made it do that day. I talked to that guy after school, and he was like, yeah, I didn't do it. He's like, thanks for listening to me. And that's the time Amanda saved her high school from being shot up.
Congratulations, you're a better therapist than Kudos Eriku.
That's not a high bar. That bar's on the floor. Though it would have been a much better story if I fucked him out of shooting the school up.
I also very concerning.
That would have been a much better story.
Because this is not a BL, and you
No,
can't, and you can't just see. This is why we're talking about the difference between fiction and reality. Because if it's a manga, then it's perfectly okay for someone to be like, "This dude is a potential mass murderer. I'm gonna fuck him." But if you do that in real life, that's a little. No, don't do that.
It's like, this is fiction. You can say, I want to fuck this mass murderer, the words that are going to go on Amanda's headstone.
I don't think they will allow that. I think there are rules.
There are not
Maybe?
rules.
Oh God.
The only rule that they have is with copyrighted characters. So like Disney, there was a kid that died of cancer, and Disney wouldn't allow him to have Spider-Man on his grave because he's a copyrighted character. That was a life-changing experience. That was one of many life-changing experiences that I went through because I am literally the main character of a shonen anime.
Please stop.
I
I mean, the only way to stop being a main character of a shonen is unfortunately to die. So I
just
guess
to
don't
die.
stop,
Right.
don't stop. But yeah, that is concerning.
Yeah, that happened to me like my junior year of high school. So I
I
was a
have,
literal 16-year-old saving the world. Maybe
I
that's
have
why I hate
nothing.
My Hero Academia, is that I
Yeah,
was there.
maybe you were there. You've done this already. You're
Maybe, yeah, maybe that's why I hate Deku. Was like I was there, I didn't cry. I didn't even have
oh
I didn't
my
have
god.
to eat a grown man's hair for magical powers, nor did I have to fight a testicle. They usually come in pairs. What was that wheeze?
That was me dying on the inside.
Oh my god. I would, you know what? I would be the greatest character in My Hero Academia.
Oh yeah.
I'd be the best.
I do feel like you would probably be in the League of Villains.
What makes you say that, Corolla?
No, nothing. You know, there's a part of me that genuinely think that you would have chosen that side purely so you didn't have to interact with Deku. Like, you would just be like, this dude's on our team. I'm sorry, I'm leaving. And then you're just,
It's like,
or
congratulations, you've passed all your tests. You can be a pro hero. Your partner is Hero Deku. Just shoot someone in the face. Bye.
or
Dips
you
out.
know, see the aforementioned wait, mass murderer, you say? I'm gonna fuck him. And then you're just
I'm gonna
out
flip
the
my way
door.
out of this mass murder.
Oh god.
See, yeah, I'd probably be in the dumb quirk Yakuza with Overhaul though, because I don't want to actually hurt people. I just want them to suffer for a long time.
Hmm.
That's why I don't like it. I had to do all the same shit, Deku. They wouldn't they wouldn't be able to let you anywhere near eyes out. Because I'd punch him in the neck repeatedly. He's a bad teacher.
But he's all of us.
I don't
Like
relate to him.
I too want to just sip up my sleeping bag and ignore the world and all of my responsibilities. Also, he likes salty licorice, so I admire
Yeah, so you're
him.
both wrong.
And I think that the word you're looking for is correct.
Is you're both swamp witches.
I don't, I don't
Also,
understand.
I don't like any of the main children, but they released a new gachapon that's literally slices of cake with each of the main characters,
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
I want them. I don't like any of these children, but I want those dumb cake slices.
But they're so
I
cute.
don't like any of these children.
I love them.
I'm
Except
gonna end up buying it. You're just gonna get like a box full of Dekus. It's like I don't want any of these.
well, and I want at least one of them, please.
Yeah. I'm gonna end
Donate.
up buying a box of it, and you're just gonna get like around Christmas, just like a box full of like Dekus, and it's
Like
like,
when you sent me those tiny Jesus figures.
oh, the
The baby
babies,
Jesus.
yes.
Oh god.
Aizawa do be husband material. I don't think he makes enough money to be a husband.
Don't
I would
shame
go.
teachers, Amanda. It's not
I
their fault.
think there's a perfectly good midnight right there, who is a teacher who also makes money. There's Mike, if you can deal with his obnoxious personality, who also makes money on the side. You could also just be like in a weird arranged marriage to All Might. He has nothing but residuals, and he's probably too busy to actually be married. So you can just be a sugar baby and enjoy all of his residuals. Like, there's more people that you can marry in that universe. Fuck, I'd even accept the people that want to marry Tamora for some reason.
I'm telling you. The hands, Amanda.
They're
The hands.
gross. He needs Neutrogena.
Yeah.
I don't like.
I
I am willing to sleep with an actual tumor before I would let Shigaraki breathe my air.
but see, I think and again, I think part of the reason why I find him so
Generational.
why I find him so alluring is that because he looks like Hyde.
That's offensive to
Like,
Hyde.
no,
You need to.
Hyde.
Hyde has never looked like the underside
Hyde.
of someone's fucking taint. You apologize to Hyde immediately.
Hyde is
Has
aware.
never
My dream is for
looked
Hyde
like a
to
dried
cosplay
out
Shigaraki.
lizard skin. Okay, if you're gonna go with the generational wealth model, you have to fuck Endeavor.
Somehow we're back
What
at
was
fucking
that?
Endeavor.
Huh?
Somehow we're back at fucking Endeavor.
Because the best.
You can keep him. It's fine. I'll be over here with Shigaraki and his hands.
I don't like him.
No, but I'm not talking about you, Amanda. I'm talking about me. I like him a little bit somehow.
No, I'm gonna make you write an apology letter to Hyde because that's offensive to Hyde. Hyde is a very attractive man. And Shigaraki needs to be dipped in a vat of industrial lubricant.
I mean, you're not wrong, but somehow lubed up Shigaraki sounds even better, honestly. Your face right now.
This is to make up for our very hinged Patreon episode. We were very like collected and to the point for Patreon.
Yeah, we were.
This is to make up for that.
Sometimes I forget that this actually goes online and stays there.
Nope, it's here forever. I wouldn't want to be a Todoroki step parent. Okay, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
We've talked about this.
How are you going to deal with your stepchildren?
I'm not going to deal with them. I'm just going to pay them off and say, listen, none of us want to be here.
What about one of them? I mean, you do have a soft spot for one of them.
Inji doesn't need to know all the things that I do. I'm getting groceries. 4 hours.
Yeah.
Ask questions.
I mean, he wouldn't notice. He's a busy man.
Wouldn't. He's a bad husband. I'm not saying I'd marry him for love.
No, you're marrying him for generational wealth, obviously.
And his ass.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, so I'm going to a specialty grocery store. I'll be back in 4 hours. It's for vitamins.
Yes. Yes.
You leave the bag in your car under the seat, so you always have one pristine looking bag, and then you just walk in with the same bag.
It's almost as if you're an expert.
Shut up. Shut up.
What is this podcast? What are we doing? We're just like incriminating ourselves on the internet 3 times a month. How did you rope me into this? I'm trying to have a writing career, Amanda.
How did I rope you into this? Did I baby trap you into this podcast?
You came to me on the SS Gaslight, held a gun to my head, and forced me to be in this podcast.
I like how Amanda's already planned.
See, that's what I'm saying.
You keep one bag with the product. It has to be flat. You fold it under your driver's seat so it's always there. And then you don't get a receipt. Just say that you didn't get a receipt. Hell, you can steal the product.
Somehow this just got worse.
Shoplifting is the least of what I'm going to be dealing with in that universe.
I feel like Endeavor would not approve of your shoplifting.
That's why he never has to know. He's not going to read the credit. He's not going to read the credit transactions. Yeah, he's probably busy doing other stuff. And for whatever reason, I have to be useful enough that he won't hit me. I mean, I should be good. He already got the one kid he wanted. So I'm just there, I guess, for trophy status. So perfect. Exactly what I wanted.
The other way around. He's your trophy husband, clearly.
But he doesn't know it.
No, he doesn't know that.
Because he's not that smart.
I think that would make him maybe not sad. I don't know if he has the capacity to be sad, but you know,
he has a lot of capacity to be sad.
Okay.
Me torturing Endeavor on a regular basis. Me regularly gaslighting and torturing Endeavor.
And this, children, is what happens when you grow up reading manga from the early 2000s. This is
Oh, this is what happens.
this
This
is
is what
what you
happens.
become.
You
This is
you mansplain male wife endeavor. This is what happens.
yes.
You girl
This
boss gaslight
this
gatekeep endeavor.
exact this exact thing is what
Uh,
happened.
then
This is
I'm
where you
doing the
end up.
best.
Yeah,
There's
you're
a
doing great.
there's a drag queen I follow, and they were doing a makeup tutorial, and like she really got that like harsh like blush line. She's like, I must have sucked some good dick tonight. You know that God is like graced me with this, and it's like same. I must have done a lot of things right to earn the ability to look so stunningly flawless and to manipulate fictional characters with fat asses for as long as I have. This is what they have to look forward to.
Yeah.
See, this is what the children have to look forward to. Don't start BL. BL is a hell of a drug. You turn into that sticker in my shop that's Rasputin that says mansplain manipulate male wife.
Oh god.
Oh my god. We were having such a good eloquent conversation and then just derailed.
I don't know what happened.
I don't
But
either.
no, but you're right. It's because we were so put together
We were
on Patreon.
great for Patreon, and then I guess our bodies, there was like a midichlorian imbalance. And it's like, you guys haven't been chaotic enough yet. Time to fuck shit up.
I needed this personally.
I did too.
I've been working so hard. I just, sometimes you just need to screech with your friend.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to be really, really unhinged with your friend, especially when you're talking about heavy stuff. Because, like, I like talking about representation. It's, like, arguably what I've made, like, my paneling career on. But, like, I don't know, especially the way, like, the kids do it, it makes me really sad. Thank you. We're glad that you're here.
Thank you. I'm glad
like,
we're appreciated.
I am too. But like, it makes me really sad the way like the kids talk about it sometimes. And it's like, oh, this character doesn't look just like me. They're trash. And it's like, we were out here cobbling golems of representation. That it's like, if I take this color's eyes and this character's hair and this, he kind of looks like me if you squint and stand upside down. You know, we were really just like doing the most back in those days. And like, the characters that I related to and that I connected to, like that is a bond forged by fire. You're not prying any of those men away from me.
I wouldn't dare. I'm sorry, I'm not touching that one.
Right, like you're not taking away any of those horrible men from me. I've worked too hard to get them chained here.
Clearly. No, but it's like we said in the main episode, like we are both very pro representation. Like it's great how diversified BL has become, all over the spectrum, whether that is, because it's gone global, there are more, representations in terms of race, of backgrounds, of genders, all of those things. But it's still a very vast genre, and you can't expect your representation to be everyone else's representation. So just because you don't recognize, a character's motive, or they don't look like you, or they don't think like you, that doesn't mean it's bad representation. And sometimes it doesn't have to be representative, because sometimes it's just for you to enjoy for whatever reason. If you're enjoying it because it's a clusterfuck, or if you're enjoying it because it's genuinely great, doesn't matter as long as you're enjoying it. Everything doesn't have to be an after school special, essentially. But if it is good representation, then that's great, but everything doesn't have to be, because we're allowed to have messy, chaotic, bad gays sometimes.
No, 100%. And like, I think it's so important to sort of like wrap up on that point is that, I didn't walk into BL hoping to be represented, but I very rarely walk into anything hoping to be represented. To sort of thread a needle back, I didn't really feel represented at all by the first Black Panther movie because I'm African diasporate. So seeing like this Pan Africa of all these like African cultures, it was neat, but I don't know what that feels like. So it's amazing that, sometimes when you're not expecting something to represent you and it does, it's just such an amazing feeling. I can't believe that y'all were the first results from me on Google Podcasts when I searched up Yaoi half a year ago. I'm so glad our
Well,
SEO is working.
I hope
Slay.
I hope you weren't disappointed.
I hope
Uh,
you, yeah. Thank you for that. That really like makes me very, very happy. The young people need to be able to distinguish their identification and representation.
mm,
One, one is personal, and from an audience perspective, the other is broad. Exactly,
yeah,
exactly,
exactly.
exactly. One of them you hold deeply close to your chest, and the other is the part of you that you can kind of give away freely.
Yeah.
And I think I do sort of miss that necessity. I never thought I'd say this, but I think that's one of the reasons why I'm a little bit pro gatekeeping in some instances is that having to put in that work made it richer for a lot of my fan experience of having to put in the work to knowing characters and knowing plot lines and knowing directors and knowing voice actors. That forged a fan that is pretty unflappable in a lot of things. It's not as easy to hurt my feelings.
Mm,
So there's a part of me, I was on a date with a guy. I mentioned this, and he was kind of doing the whole thing where like, oh, I don't really like anime and manga. I don't like how exploitative it is and how problematic it is. And I remember looking at him and kind of just saying like, if that's the case, then you need to feel that way about everything. And turns out he did.
mhm.
But like that's the whole issue is that it's like you can't hold that to task for one thing. If you're going to do it, you need to do it for everyone. And that's always been my big problem. If you're going to be mad at representation in media that has never been meant to represent you, i.e., media from Thailand, China, Korea, Japan, because it's not trying to represent you. It never has been trying to represent you. If there is a character of color in those works, it is not because they are trying to represent black people or people of color. It's not. Um, there's a new Shinichiro Watanabe series that's coming out, Lazarus. It's done by Mappa. So it looks like Trigun Stampede, but feels like Space Dandy. Um, and I'm very excited. It still looks a little gummy. It still looks a little gummy, but it's mostly in the backgrounds. The character models look a lot more solid than Stampede. Because Stampede, everyone looks gummy and glossy, and I don't like it. But there's a black character that's prominently featured in the trailer, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, Watanabe is doing another black character." It's like, yeah, because Watanabe has a fetishistic view of black people. Look at the black characters he had in Space Dandy. Look at the black character that he had in Cowboy Bebop. That's not negative, but he has a fetishistic view of black people. White people in America have fetishistic views of black people. That's not a dig on Shinichiro Watanabe, but like, yeah, he didn't make that character to be like, Amanda, you've been in here for
Yeah.
20 years, let's go. Like, he didn't do that for me. Like, when Tite Kubo created a vaguely Hispanic character, he wasn't doing that for anyone. He loved the aesthetic of
Yeah.
Spain. Like, and I don't know, I guess like I would love that part of gatekeeping to come back where like you know things about directors and authors again. To maybe that would help. I don't know. Maybe I'm just
I
old.
I don't know. But I understand what you're saying.
Thank you.
And I think, and it's hard. Like, and again, like I don't have, I don't have any legs to stand. Like, I'm not a researcher. I'm not a specialist on any of these things. I'm just an old whinging fan, right?
Me.
And Japan, if we're talking about Japan, isn't, also isn't a monolith. Like, there are
No.
people in Japan who care about representation and who
Sure.
are progressive, but as far as the entertainment industry goes, like, they're not necessarily having these conversations. And again, and this isn't always a bad thing, but
Mhm.
so much of this discussion when we talk about representation in this sense is coming from an American perspective,
Mhm.
where and again, like, I'm a white person. I don't think that I have anything to say on, people of color and how they experience the world, or what the, representation. And okay, I don't know anything about that. I'm
And we
white,
do appreciate you for that.
but I am also Norwegian. So
Mhm.
I am looking at this from a slightly different perspective than the American perspective.
Mhm.
And everyone doesn't have that context, and everyone doesn't look at representation through those eyes necessarily.
I'm sorry, I was being shady.
No.
Damn, now I'm thinking of a mangaka trying to romance you.
Who do
But
you
which
want to be
one?
romanced by if
Yeah,
you
but
could
which
choose?
if I could pick a mangaka that I'd want to be romanced by,
Yeah.
um can I get like 2005 Hiromu Arakawa?
Okay. I mean, I asked. You can have whoever you want.
Yeah, like
Go
like
for it.
peak Full Metal Alchemist Hiromu Arakawa. No, there's a mutual of mine is doing their first ever panel, misconceptions about anime dubs. Honey, it's 2023. What misconceptions? They have the same 5 tired ass voice actors. They got 2 black people now. Girl, what misconceptions? Girl, baby girl, sweet thing. Misconceptions who? I'm being a shady asshole.
I
I'm
mean,
being a
but
shady
at first,
asshole.
no, okay, because my first thought is I'll tell you a misconception. Here's one. See it on
Yes.
Twitter every day. The voice actor automatically agrees with whatever dumb shit the character is doing. And if they haven't taken a step back and explicitly said, I do not condone this action,
Yes.
shift, whatever, then
Yes.
that means they're a terrible person. That is a misconception I would like to clear up.
Except for when you get voice actors that also write scripts and they'll add in like dumb internet slang like totes deaf and ooh woo. And
I'm
then
sorry. I am still reeling. Like, please, I love, apart from the terrible, never-ending abyss that Nana has left me in, since that ain't getting finished. I have been in pain for a lot of years, but that aside, I love Nana. But I cannot get over the choices that were made when that manga was officially translated, because a lot of the slang that they used, not only was it completely unheard of to me, but a lot of these characters, like Hachi, wouldn't talk like that. I can't see her referring to her parents as the rents. What the hell was that? It hurts.
my favorite is when people have to remember that Funimation is in Texas because Funimation will use a lot of like very loaded terminology sometimes in their dubs, like referring to Prince Ling from Full Metal Alchemist as an illegal alien.
Oh,
Yeah, in the dub to Brotherhood, they refer to him as an illegal alien.
that is a choice.
And it's like almost like Funimation's in Texas.
I know very little about Funimation because
I could
they
tell so
they
many stories.
they hate the rest of the world,
They,
so you can't
they
even
do.
access their
You
website
can't.
from, like, I
And
had
they
to
have
turn on a
always and they
VPN.
have always felt that way from the inception. I think if they could make it to where only Texans could access their site, they would. Funimation, fuck the capital. You want to go to the most yeehaw place in Texas? It's Funimation. It's
Oh
not the
my god.
capital. It's fucking Funimation's office.
I just love it when they're like, oh, blah, 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 read more on our website or whatever. And then you go through the website. It's like, you can't access this website from your territory. I'm like,
Yeah.
but
You want to go to the most yeehaw place in Texas. It is not the state capital. It is Funimation's office.
if I should ever, God forbid, decide to go to the US, you have to take me to
I'll take you.
Funimation.
You're not going to be happy, but I'll take you. You're going to be mad. You're
I
going to see
feel
the same 5 voice actors from when you were a child being dragged out to play twinks of various ages.
the way you're
It's like
presenting
walking.
this, it's like, it sounds like you're gonna take me to the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea.
Honestly, it reminds me of like when you see videos of like aquatic theme parks right before they close. And it's just like sad dolphins and shit. If you got reached out to by a major animation studio wanting to animate one of your works for an OVA, which one of us would listen to us considering how much trash we talk?
That aside, oh
Which
my god.
I don't want it to be Mappa. You do.
Maybe they would be my second choice.
You would want Mappa.
No, first choice, hands down, KyoAni. I want KyoAni.
Okay. So I would actually resurrect a brand. I would say Geneon or KyoAni.
Seriously, like KyoAni. Again,
KyoAni is good.
Must I remind you that I once cried seeing a droplet of water animated by KyoAni because it was so fucking beautiful. If I could see my voice animated by KyoAni, I would die.
I would want it to be KyoAni or Geneon because I feel like a lot of my stories are a little bit too gritty for KyoAni. Like they try to make it really, really soft, and nothing I write is soft. Even my soft stuff is problematic, as you learned with my Kitazawa fic.
I did enjoy parts of that though, even though I tried my hardest to flame you.
You did. I also love just like the subtle sentiment of I enjoyed parts of it. There are parts that I can't acknowledge.
Okay, but there are also parts of it that I genuinely can't recall because I read the words tongue piercing and my brain flatlined and left the building. So
what would you do? What would I do?
I would die.
Yeah, I'd die. I'd burn everything because I wouldn't want them to. They can't know what I do. I'd burn everything. I'd do like.
But I think it depends. Like I don't like not to be all beggars can't be choosers, you know, because if someone wanted to animate any of my books, like I would be overjoyed. Like it would be, but then it's like sometimes things end up with not necessarily the right company. Like I would be, even if I would be so grateful, I would be so obnoxious. I would want to be part of all, the entire process. Like I want to know what are they keeping? What are they cutting out?
I would need to be
animating.
I would need to be in every room simultaneously. I would need to,
And I'm thinking like one thing that comes to mind, I can't remember which studio this is, but we all know after 10,000 years, supposedly 10 Count is finally getting an animation, but the trailer, like the animation, like the art style isn't anywhere near the level of Rihito Sensei, right? So and again, we don't know what the final product is going to look like, but it looks disappointing
because you know what? I
should have been KyoAni.
I will say when they released that Twittering Birds trailer for the movie for Clouds Gather, I was like, what? This is sus. This is sus as hell. So you never know the final product, but also, I feel like if any company approached me, I'd be like, I need a year to rewrite everything. Unless you want to do it like Ayakashi Samurai Horror Tales, where he does animate each individual like one shot, then sure, I guess. But like, you know what? I'm lying. I would want Obata Sensei to do some of my work. Because I've always loved that aesthetic. There's a Castlevania fighting game that is animated by him. So it's Castlevania characters, but done like Death Note. It's objectively a terrible game.
Who cares if it's a terrible game if it looks good?
It's one of, again, best friend. We were playing it at a con. Like I dragged my Wii and everything so we could play because I had hyped this game up a little. Because that was when we were watching the Castlevania anime that Netflix released. So, everyone was into Castlevania. And then, you had the purist in the back that was like, I wanted to fuck Alucard when he was a collection of pixels. I've been wanting to fuck Alucard before he had a canon appearance. But I had mentioned, like, there's this Castlevania game that's all the character models and all the animations are done by the guy who did Death Note. And it's like, bring that shit. And like objectively, as a fighting game, it's a very, very poor fighting game. As a Castlevania game, it's not a great Castlevania game because it's one of the many like non-canon Castlevanias where it's just like who the fuck is this character? Do they matter? No. But like, when you want to talk about like niche thing made for Amanda. But yeah, this has been a wonderful live stream.
Yeah, this was fun. Thank you for asking like writing questions. That's always fun.
Thanks for asking such great questions.
I feel so seen.
This. I feel so seen. I feel so seen. And I made this makeup last, which is amazing.
There's cat hair all over my mic.
The story of life. But we will be back. Corolla, what are we doing next month to celebrate 801 and everything?
We're going to CitrusCon, first of all.
Well, first of all, we're recording an episode.
Oh, yeah, okay.
First of all, we're recording... Hold on.
First, you want to talk chronological. I see. Okay. No, yeah, we're going to talk some more about writing fan fiction and fanfic tropes and how things have changed.
And the things that are completely the same.
Yeah, since the days when the dinosaurs roamed on LiveJournal and stuff. I'm very excited. It's going to be super, super fun. And then we're going to CitrusCon.
Correct. And then we have CitrusCon. I'm very excited. There is no live next month. So remember how we said we're going to talk about Yoshiki Kitazawa in the Patreon episode. This is a great time to sign up for Patreon.
Ooh, nice segue.
Thank you. Patreon is an amazing service that allows us to keep the metaphorical and physical lights on because these videos are demonetized.
What you think? Why? I can't imagine why.
I was genuinely worried I wouldn't. You did amazing.
Thank you for engaging.
Thank you so much. You did great. As I stare at my copy of The Summer He Cut Who Died with my dick bookmark in it with the heart-shaped.
Yes. I love that bookmark. Are you gonna show it? I mean, we're already demonetized.
We're demonetized.
It's such a good bookmark. I love it so much. I also have it.
And I got the censor lines because now you don't know what it is at all.
No, these are my favorite. Like if it has to be censored, I want it to be like that. That's my favorite.
Yes, this is exactly how you censor because this is now totally obscured, right? I don't know what this is. This could be anything. So yeah, this is inside. There's your thumbnail right there. Some actual. Finally looking like a manga tuber. Oh my god, when I had to acknowledge that I was a manga tuber, I wanted to evaporate.
No.
I'm a what? I'm pretty sure I still have the shop somewhere in my Etsy.
I'll
put it in the description because it's a good bookmark.
It's a great bookmark.
I'm very much loving that. But Patreon's a great place to support us. Also, we have some really, really ambitious plans going into the next quarter, including some things that I really want to make happen. But to make that happen, we need capital.
Yes.
So supporting the show is a great way to allow me to have my maniacal dreams.
What are you even? Okay. I was wondering where you were going with that. I was like, what is happening?
You know the thing that I want to make. I've told you.
I know. And I also want that.
There's a thing that we both really want to make, but we don't want to talk about it too much until we know we can do it. But we need money to do it. So here's a great time to sign up and be a patron. Exclusive episodes. You guys get to vote on our Halloween costumes this year, which so far I think the runnings are Reo Mabu, Victor and Yuri, Vash and Wolfwood.
Wait, who's gonna be Victor and who's gonna be Yuri in that case?
To be determined. I'll have to fight for it.
Okay.
I'll have to fight. I love that you're like, wait.
Wait, what?
I threw in Vash and Wolfwood because I feel like that's a cute pairing for us. It's a topical cute pairing for us. And I feel like there's one more that I want to throw in there before I put it up to the patrons. Don't look at me like that. You have options as well.
Okay.
I just want you Sasuke and Naruto.
I haven't said anything all live. Do you guys
You
know
don't
that it's
have
just
to because I know what
Thursday?
you do when I'm not on Twitter.
What? What gave it away?
Acknowledging Sasuke's birthday. Yeah, it's funny because sometimes I'm busy and Corolla takes over Twitter for me. And every time I want to be proud of her, and then I look at what she tweets from our Twitter, and then any pride that I have evaporates. Except for
I
acknowledging Makoto's mighty penis. That is an approved
Yeah, I
move.
did that for you.
That was a false flag, so I wouldn't keep looking down at all this Sasuke Naruto shit.
It wasn't that much. It was just when they go ahead and release what is essentially a Sasunaru AMV from the official Shonen Jump YouTube, I'm gonna acknowledge it. What kind of BL podcast would we be if we didn't acknowledge it?
I'm just saying, I love the psychology that she starts off with Haru riding Mako's dick, knowing that that will distract me for a little while, and hoping that I will never move on.
uh,
It
I
would
mean,
be greatly appreciated. No one has to do anything. We will keep making this show purely out of spite. But
I mean, honestly, we're just doing this for us.
honestly, I think we'd be doing this regardless.
This
Like,
is
this
what
would
I
just be
do.
us.
This is what I do anyway. It's just that there's a camera pointed at me right now,
Right? This is just like how we talk to each other
which
privately.
is almost because there are actually some things we do not talk about on YouTube that we talk about privately because we actually have
At
some
the end of the
standards.
year, we're finally gonna have to talk about it.
No, I
At the
I
end of the
don't
year
want
special.
I don't want to
No.
talk about it.
No, I'm taking your writing career with me.
No. What writing career? I haven't written anything in
Can't confirm Corolla does this.
You're ratting me out.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
actually, it's true. It's true. It's true.
Also, if you've been wondering what Amanda's been fidgeting with, I went to Kinokuniya over the weekend for my birthday, and they had these little bag clips that were from Yu-Gi-Oh! So I have the Winged Dragon of Ra
Oh,
and a very, very derpy dark magician. Just and it's
I know that one.
the mascot
Look at
character. You know the mascot character. I'm so proud
Leave me
of you.
alone. Leave me
No,
alone.
I'm gonna keep bullying you.
I actually used to watch Yu-Gi-Oh, but it was first of all it was dubbed in Swedish, and I don't know.
We would love it if you made future ones. We had a great time.
Yes, thank you for
I'm having
telling
a
me.
hard time like wrapping my head around Swedish Yu-Gi-Oh. But yeah, so Patreon's great. We will be back in August to talk about writing fan fiction tropes because we had such a great time talking about writing the last time where both of us just made a low-pitched whine having to acknowledge that we still produce shit.
Which
And
is for me at least you wrote something the other day, but for me that is such an ambitious claim. The
writer.
only thing I've written in the past year is like I have this giant note on my phone where I put
Mhm.
down like very like short conversations and
Mhm.
snippets and just like words I want to use or phrases
Mhm.
I want to use. That is the only writing I've done all year.
Yes. So for me, I'm working on a fic right now, and then I have another idea saved. Uh, because I can't start the new idea until I finish this one. So
Good on
unfortunately,
you.
two characters from DC Comics have to fuck each other a lot.
Unfortunately.
Tragically, two very popular characters from DC Comics have to go have a fuck about it.
Oh no.
I know.
That makes you sad, doesn't it?
I'm miserable.
I'm
But
so sorry for you.
also, if you've been thinking, hey, there hasn't been a new sticker in a while, Daddy's been busy. New stickers will be released this week before I go to Washington, D.C. And I get to start on our presentation for CitrusCon.
Yeah.
Updated schedule will be released on the 1st on Yaoi Day, in addition to the one big thing that we have literally been squirming over for months that I am so excited to finally be able to announce and talk about. But we can't talk about it until the 1st.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm one of those little cats that just is like the little shimmy where it's just like, yeah. Like, yes, it's coming up.
I'm very excited. Finally.
So, yeah,
Finally, We
This
don't
is
have to worry about misspeaking, you know?
this is yeah. It's so weird having to hold a secret like this from you guys.
We're not good at,
We're
keeping
bad.
our
We're
not good at keeping
actively
our mouth
bad
shut.
at it.
So
We're
so
really
this has
not.
been
This
the
has been
my only
hashtag
salvage
rough.
my only salvage is how stupid I am. Like, I forget things all the time. I have half the time I don't know what we're talking about. And then I'm like, okay, good, because that saves me from saying something
Yeah,
that I'm not
it's
allowed
like
to
Carla
talk
has
about.
genuinely forgotten, so she can't release the secret. Uh, but we have some really, really cool stuff coming up towards the end of the year. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate you all so much. And we will see you guys in the next one.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining.